Vanakkam. Until the last session, we discussed various parameters in the basic views and purchasing view. We created metal master data with those two views. As a next step, we must create the MRP views. Before creating MRP views, it is necessary to understand the basic concepts of material requirements planning. So you will be able to understand those parameters linked to the business needs. In this session, we will discuss MRP logic, what are the outputs from MRP, and introduction to MRP views in SAP. Before going to the session, let us see the answers for the quiz we discussed in the last session. What is the transaction code to create a metal master? MM01. What is the transaction code to extend a metal master from one plant to another? That is also MM01. What is the transaction code to extend or create one missing view of a metal master? That is also MM01. Can we create a new metal copying from another material? Yes, we can create it. We saw the example also. So why I ask these first three questions, right? Because MM01 is used for creation of any new material or extending a metal from one plant to another plant or any extending new views. What is the order unit in purchasing view? When a purchasing unit of measurement is different from basic unit of measurement, order unit will be used. That is, our basic unit of measurement may be pieces, but we will be buying in cartons. Then the purchasing unit of measurement may be cartons. Or our basic unit of measurement may be in meters, but we will be buying in some rolls. Then we will be using the purchase unit of measurement. That will be maintained in the purchasing view. What is the use of plant specific metal status? This is used to update the status of metal specific to the plant. It is applicable only to that plant. Hope you remember the X plant. X plant means cross plant status, which was applicable across all the plants, across all the company codes. What are the features available in purchase value key? So there are many things there in purchase value key, like reminders. Three reminders we saw, that over delivery tolerance, under delivery tolerance, minimum delivery quantity. How automatic purchase order, the checkbox is used. When you are converting purchase request to purchase orders, it is used to facilitate automatic conversion of a bulk set of purchase request to purchase orders based on some parameters. GR process time, that is goods receipt processing time, is it defined in working days or calendar days? It is defined in working days. We discussed the difference between calendar days and working days in detail. Please refer that, because understanding that is very important. What is the impact of post to inspection stock? It is used to trigger the metal to be posted in the quality inspection stock, so that it will not be available for regular usage until it is cleared by the inspection. Can we give unlimited tolerance to a metal receipt? Yes, technically it is possible, but normally it is not recommended. Okay, let us continue to discuss the MRP concepts, which is going to cover the details in this MRP 1, 2, 3, 4 views. Here we see the overall process of production planning and execution. As we see here, MRP is in the middle of demand and supply. Demand is the requirement coming from the market and customers through forecast, orders, long-term plans, etc. Supply includes purchasing materials and services to produce the goods or services as per demand, and also producing the products. MRP plans dependent requirements to meet the independent requirements from the market. MRP acts as an engine to the entire process. It balances demand and supply. Material requirements planning, MRP, creates the dependent requirements to meet the independent requirements and customer orders. As we see here, it is a link between demand and supply. It is very important to understand. MRP is very, very critical to have proper availability of material. So what are the benefits of MRP? MRP balances the service level and it helps to reduce the cost and the capital lock. So it helps the MRP controllers for better productivity, right? That is the main purpose. Then it helps to ensure the right quantity of right metal at the right time. For this, a proper master data and transaction data should be done. Without master data, proper master data, we cannot do this activity. And then it helps the planners to do a proper proactive exception handling. That is the production order, purchase orders, any postponement, advancement or cancellation. These things can be done through this proper MRP.
So these are the three major things, benefits of MRP.
So now we are going to discuss the logic of material requirements planning MRP. Before discussing that, we need to understand the difference between independent demand and dependent demand. Independent demand is the one which is coming directly from the market to meet the customer requirement, and it is not calculated by the system. It is estimated as forecast or it is given as an order by the customer. Example as per our business case is gearbox. These independent demand are entered into the system as planned independent requirement or sales order in system. Dependent requirement means these are all the items which are used to produce those materials which are coming as a market requirement. That is the independent requirements. And they are calculated to produce these independent items through bill of materials, considering the stock available, etc. Example from our case is the input subassembly to produce a gearbox, output subassembly, other components like fasteners, lubrication oil, etc. They are used to produce a gearbox. And these things are calculated through material requirement planning. So please understand these differences. So independent demand is not calculated. It is captured as a requirement from market, but dependent requirements are calculated. This is the main difference between the independent demand and the dependent demand. There may be some items which may be dependent and independent. For example, let us take lubrication oil. And the lubrication oil is used in producing a gearbox, then it is a dependent requirement because it is to produce a independent item, that gearbox. It is going as input to the gearbox. But if the lubrication oil is supplied to a supplier who is doing some service of gearboxes, etc., at that time it is becoming independent requirement because it is coming as a market requirement. So the same material, it is acting as demand, dependent demand and also the independent demand. So this difference has to be understood very clearly because the conflict is happening in many organizations that a product is planned and procured to meet the production through the BOM as a dependent demand from MRP. But this after sales service or the spares parts department, they will take these materials, they will use for their requirement. So what will happen? It will create some confusion of producing the main product and all. So whenever there is a material which is having this kind of action, like no both dependent and independent, we need to capture the requirement clearly through the planned independent requirement for the requirement coming from the market, either as forecast or sales orders. It's very important. Please take note of it. We start discussing the logic on which MRP is working. MRP starts with the demand, that is, what to be produced, how much to be produced, and when it should be available for further usage. Those things are defined. The demand is entered as sales order, or they entered as a forecast, that is a planned independent requirements, and or the demand may come from other production orders or subcontracting orders. So there is a demand. Next is the bill of materials to produce those products. Bill of materials contains the components required to produce the products and what is the quantity required. And then we have the inventory details. Inventory status is showing that how much stock is there and how much on open purchase orders and what is the lead time of the material. These things are available as the inventory status. And then we have the planning parameters. To plan the material, we have various parameters. These things are captured in the planning parameters of the material master. Now, based on all these inputs, the demand, the bill of material, inventory status, and the planning parameter in material master, system will work on the material requirement planning. In material requirement planning, first gross requirement will be worked out, and then the gross requirement will be converted into net requirement. And based on this net requirement, system will give the procurement proposals and exception messages. The procurement proposals are coming as the planned order proposal as we discussed just now. It may be converted into production order or it can be converted into purchase requisition then to purchase order. And also system will throw exception messages in case it is required. Let us discuss this with an example.
There is a demand of 100 cars. I mean, what to produce is when to produce how much, no? 100 cars to produce, and it is required on 1st January 2022. This is the demand, right? And then when we see bill of material for cars, we'll have thousands of materials. For our discussion purpose, let us take the tires required. To produce one car, we need 5 tires, which is including one stepney, right? The spare tire. So we have 5 tires to produce one car. So this is the bill of material. And then when you see these tires, there is a stock of 100 tires in stock, and there is open purchase order for 50 tires. The lead time to get the tires is 1 week. That is the inventory status. And then when you come to planning parameters, safety stock for this metal is defined as 50 numbers, and lot size is defined as exact requirement. What is lot size? We discuss in detail in the Metal Master. Please refer the session. What is lot size and what is rounding value? Those things are already explained. Please revisit this Metal Master sessions. So we have the safety stock, lot size and rounding value. Now based on these things, system is working out what is the gross requirement. We need 100 cars, which means what do we need? We need 500 tires. And if the cars are required on 1st January, if the production lead time is 1 day, then 31st December the car should be ready, which means we need to have gross requirement of tires on 31st December, that 500 numbers. At the same time, we have stock of 100, and also we have open purchase order of 50, which means we need to have this 500 minus 100 minus 50, 350 tires only we need. This is called gross requirement conversion to net requirement. System is arriving the net requirement. After arriving at net requirement, system will check what is the planning parameter. For example, you have the safety stock. So we need to have safety stock of 50, which means what system will do? System will check we need to have 400 numbers as the tires. For these 400 numbers, system will create a planned proposal which will tell you have to release the purchase order on 24 December because the lead time is 1 week. Now you understand how the demand is taken, how bill of material is used, how the inventory details are used, and how the planning materials are there to calculate MRP requirements, that is a gross requirement, net requirement, and then how system is given the proposal. Now let us see what is the exception message. If the demand for the car is reduced from 100 cars to 70 cars, what's happening? 150 requirement of tire is coming down, which means system will say you postpone the order for 150 tires. System will say it is the postpone. Please postpone the order. System will give a exception message. Similarly, in case the order is increased to 130, which means we need additional 150 tires. So system will either create additional requirement, or if there is a purchase order already, system will say get it in advance. That's what system will say. Please bring it immediately. That's what the system will say. In case the demand has reduced drastically, for example 100 to 50 or to 100 to 30, in that case there is a huge reduction in the tire requirement, then system will suggest cancel the order. So there will be cancellation. So there will be schedule out or schedule in or cancellation. These kind of exception messages will be there. So this is the MRP logic. I hope this is clear. If not, please again go through this. This is very important, and this MRP logic is working out not only in SAP, any ERP if you take, this will be the logic.
As discussed just now, MRP plans dependent requirements to meet the independent requirements. The independent requirements flow into the system as individual customer orders, or they are entered as planned independent requirements, generally called as PAR. With these inputs and based on the other planning parameters, BOM, those kind of details, system will create the dependent requirements proposals like planned orders, purchase requisitions, and schedule lines. Planned orders are generated for the purpose of in-house production items. Purchase requisitions and schedule lines are created for the purchasing items from outside. And then the planned orders are converted into the production orders. Purchase requisitions are converted into purchase orders. From schedule line meantime, system also creates the further dependent requirements from the planned orders. For example, I have a gearbox requirement. For the gearbox, we need to have input to subassembly, right? Then that dependent requirement will be created. That cycle will again continue. Please note, it is going back to the MRP. So it will complete the full cycle until it is coming to the raw material. Until that, it is completing all the requirements. So now system created the purchase request and planned order for all the levels of bill of materials. And then from the low level, we start to procure the materials. So they are received through schedule lines and purchase orders. They are received into the stock. And then these warehouse stocks are issued to the production orders. And after completing the production, we are getting back the items into the stock. This is how MRP loop is working on, right? This concept will be explained further details as MRP logic step by step in further when you are proceeding in this session. But this is a common overview which is explaining what is the logic of MRP.
Now we'll see that how MRP works step by step in SAP. So the first step is net requirement calculation. That's what we just now discussed. And then system will consider the lot size, how the lot size has to be taken. And then system will consider whether it has to be procured internally or externally. And then system will schedule it, when you have to release the order. After completing this, system will explode the bill of material so that is there any further down the materials they have to buy. So system will keep on doing this BM explosion until it reaches the final level of the bill of material. Now, when I have this net requirement calculation, system compares what is the stock and the receipts, right? The stocks and receipts with the what is the requirement. That is, it takes the demand. Demand, what are the demands there? Sales orders, planned independent requirement, other dependent requirements, any reservations entered by users, or the deliveries created for the customer orders. On safety stock is also a demand. Please note, safety stock is also a demand because we want this additional stock to be there. All these things are considered as safety demand. And then system will check what is the supply, which means where do we get these materials. It may come from planned orders, it may come from production orders, it may come from purchase requisitions, it may come from purchase orders, and available stock. All these things are supply. Now system will compare these two and then arrive at what is the shortage. This is what the net requirement calculation system will consider. And here I introduced various parameters which you will see in SAP when you are doing the system settings and also when you are understanding the processes. After working on the net requirement, system will now work out what is the lot size. So is to arrive at what should be the order quantity, right? So how it is done. Now we saw by comparing the demand and supply, system arrived at what is the shortage. Now based on the parameter we defined as a lot size, system will give what is the quantity which has to be procured. That is what system will consider now. So the lot sizing, what are the lot sizing? So lot sizing are various options are in SAP. There is a static lot sizing procedure. There is a periodic lot sizing procedure. There is an optimum lot sizing procedure. In static procedure, we can buy a lot for lot, what we need exactly we will get it, or there is a fixed lot size quantities. We will fix some quantity, accordingly those things will buy. Or replenishment to the maximum stock level. What is the maximum stock we need? We can buy it. It will not exceed more than that the proposal. The second is the periodic procedure, where we can accumulate the requirements of daily requirements or weekly requirements or monthly requirements or the flexible period, say 10 days, 15 days, 20 days, like that. Next is the optimum procedure, where it has to optimize the cost and also the inventory based on the past period or least unit cost or graph reorder point method or dynamic lot size method. So these are the things which you need to understand. After understanding this lot sizing, how they are working clearly, so we will not discuss about this optimum procedure here, but this is also not used much in many organizations. If you are interested, after learning this regular lot sizing, the static procedure and periodic procedure, you can explore them by testing yourself. You don't need to go for anything else. Just to put these parameters, run the system, you will get the results automatically. Now let us discuss about this static procedure, periodic procedure with some example. So this requirement, let us see how the system will consider the lot size to work out what is the procurement proposal based on the requirements. Here this is the first example. We'll see that how the exact lot size will work out. So there is a requirement of 40 numbers. Let us say it is week 1. Then there is a requirement of 40 in week 2. Requirement 3 in 70 numbers in week 3. So system will create the planned orders for the each one as it is, like a 40 for 40, then second week 40, third week 70. Though this is not exact lot size. In SAP, the lot size procedure will be entered as EX. The next method is called fixed lot size, which means we are telling the system you create the planned order with a fixed quantity of 50 numbers. How this works? So let us see the same requirement, the 40, 40, 70. Now because we gave this as a fixed quantity, the first week system will create planned order for 50. The second week it will create a planned order for 50. In third week, please note it has not created 70. Because it is checking what is that 40 plus 40 is 70, no? Total 150, and then planned orders already created 50 plus 50 100, so remaining 50 the fixed lot size is also matching with, so it will stop with that 50. That is how fixed lot size will work. See, whatever the lot size you put, system will always balance what is the requirement versus supply. Please take note of it. This is what we are seeing here. For example, there is a fixed lot size 45. Now the requirements are same 40, 40, 70. So in the week 1 it is created 45, in week 2 it is created 45. In week 3 you please note it created one planned order 45, but when we create this planned order 45 we created only 45 plus 45 plus 5, it is 135, but the requirement is 150. So remaining 15 required, for that system has created another planned order 45. So this is no standard settings. At the same time, I don't want this last requirement, what is our 45, I need only remaining 15 means there is a customized configuration we can do it, just one tick mark in the lot size procedure. I want you to explore this, you please check it, there is option. So in that case, system will create the last planned order, no? Instead of 45, it will create exact requirement, that is what exact quantity 15 can be created. Okay, so there are options. That's what I told. System will take care of what is the requirement supply. It will not always create excess requirements. Only thing we have to understand exactly how to do it. Because some organizations will say, even I don't want this last planned order 15, because when I release this planned order 45 to my supplier or to my production, they will not produce it. They will wait for 45 only. There is no meaning for me. So they will want this 45 only. So it depends on various things. How do we set it? Okay. So please be careful when you are reading these things, when you are using them. The next option is if you are going for periodic lot size. Now in this example, we have the week requirement of 40, 40, 70. Suppose we want as a monthly requirement. Then system will add all these things and give the requirement of 150 as one requirement, which is required on first of the month. Like that, it will give us one planned order 150. Right? This is how system will work out based on the lot size. Now let us see that the procedures, right? How the lot for lot is working. For example, here we see these requirements. For example, this table, no, please go through it. It is giving the day-wise requirement, and here we are showing what are the requirements which are coming for each lot size. Now, first when you see the lot for lot size procedure, for each requirement, for example, on 1st September, we need 10 numbers. System is giving 10 numbers as lots per lot procurement proposal. Similarly, if you take 9th September, system is giving 6 as the requirement. Similarly, if you take 15 September, system has given 3 as the requirement, which means lot for lot procedure gives the proposal for each day's requirement as individual proposal. If you go like this, there will be 38 proposals, means 38 purchase requisitions or purchase production orders have to be created if you go for lot in this example. Now, if we are using weekly lot size, what will happen? In SAP, weekly lot size will be defined like WB for weekly lot size. And also the weekly calendar is defined as like Monday to Sunday. Then system will say that on the Monday the material has to be available. That's what system will define. On Monday material has to be available. So in the weekly lot size, right, system is considering that from Monday to Sunday what is the total. For example, 2nd September Monday to 8th September Sunday, what is the total? 26. That will be created as one proposal. Similarly, from 9th September Monday to 15th September Sunday, there is 16 requirement. Like this, weekly requirement taken. It is Monday to Sunday. This is a weekly requirement. Please take note, there is a lot size we can have like a dynamic, which is 7 days. There is a difference between 7 days and weekly lot size. If we take weekly lot size, system will check what is our weekly calendar and that week what is the first day. For example, this Monday to Sunday is week defined. System will check Monday as the first day, so it will accumulate every requirement from Monday to Sunday and put it as a weekly requirement which has to be available on Monday. But in case it is 7 days if we define, system will check one date. From there it will check what are the 7 days requirement from that date. Then it will give the requirement. For example, here on from 1st September until 7th September, what is the requirement? 32. And then system will start to see from 8th September what is the requirement. Now from 8th September, if we see up to like 13th, I mean 7 days if we take, it is up to 14. So up to 13th it is taken, it is giving 17. Like this, you will take 7 days of requirement. See now, that is the difference. You have to understand the difference between weekly and 7 days. Okay. Now in these things, when we are talking about lot for lot, we had 38 proposals. Now when you go for this weekly lot size or 7 days, it is reduced to around 7 proposals or maybe 9 proposals. Okay. Like this, we have it is reduced. The next option is we go for monthly lot size. Monthly lot size means system will say that 1 to 30, for example. It will say that what is the requirement from 1 to 30 that should be available first of the month. That's what system will take for the monthly lot size. Now it will add everything and give it. Similarly, there is a lot size of 30 days. 30 days, there is a difference. For example, I have a requirement from 1 to 30. System will take the 1 to 30. And the next requirement starts from 5th means, then from 5th, next 30 days system will take. Okay, that is what is 30 days and 1 month difference. If it is monthly means, system will take it as fixed as on first day of the month. Whether you give it on 3rd, 2nd or 3rd, anything, in that month, what is the total will take. If it is 30 days, if you define, for example, 1 to 30, system has taken requirements. The next requirement is coming on next month, 10th only means, from 10, it will see another 30 days, like that will take 30 days. So, this weekly lot size, 7 days lot size. Similarly, monthly lot size and 30 days lot size, please be clear, right? So, you have to be very clear on using these lot size procedures. Right? If you have doubts, please refer these numbers here. What is the calculation? You will get more clarity. So, in defining this lot sizing, what do we define? For example, what is the minimum lot size you have to put? What should be the maximum stock level you have to put? How maximum should we order? And what is the scrap you have to consider? What is the standard lot size you have to produce? There are many conflicts will be there. Why? Because the lot sizing, right, to bring down the inventory control, lot size is very important, as I just told you. We need to reduce the lot size as minimum as possible. When we order less quantities but with more frequency, we will not have accumulation of inventory. So we'll have enough space, one. Second, we'll have very good flexibility in changing the dates and order quantities. To achieve these things, it cannot come easily reducing. We have to reduce the lead time. For this, the agility and efficiency of suppliers and manufacturing operations should be improved. At the same time, if we place very frequent orders, it may increase the order cost, order administration cost, and also the setup cost. So we need to carry out the total cost of ownership concept before deciding what kind of lot size we need to use. And here we have to consider what is our consumption pattern, what is the lead time, what is the supplier reliability, what is the quality compliance. All these things are required when fixing the lot size procedures. The next is that we discuss about rounding procedure. What is the rounding procedure? Here I give an example of rounding procedure, how it is applied. For example, you use the rounding value of 100. A requirement is 45 means system will give proposal as 100. Even if it is 90, system will give proposal 100 because we told system to round it to 100. When the requirement is 101, system will give the value of 200. Similarly, 199, system will give proposal of 200. So for 101 also will give 200, 199 also give 200. What is this? Why these things are happening? For example, when you are getting some nut and bolt, the supplier will give always the nuts or bolts in a pack of 500 or 1000. You cannot place the order 465 nuts, 465 bolts. You have to order 500 or 1000 only. That time you can use these kind of things. Okay, this is the rounding value. See again, we have to see what is the supplier constraint, what is our internal requirement, and you should not increase our inventory. At the same time, we should not increase the complexity in procurement. We have to consider all these things very carefully. There is another method of rounding profile. We can create a profile to get the rounding values. We can create the profiles and assign to the materials. For example, we create a profile telling the system when the quantity is between 1 and 10, give the requirement as 10. When the requirement is between 11 and 20, give the requirement as 20. When the requirement is 31 and 50, give 50. See, if it is rounding value 10 means if the requirement is 32, system would have given 40 as requirement. But we created a rounding profile where we are telling the system when the requirement is coming from 31 to 50, give the proposal as 50. Okay. So again, this is also based on the need we can define. After arriving at these order quantities based on the lot size other thing, then we have to define what is the procurement. I mean, where should we get the material? So the procurements, right? There may be in-house production or it may be external requirement, right? These are two options, right? We have to either produce inside, we have to get outside. If it is in-house production, we may have a regular production or it may be like a phantom production. So what is the phantom production? Please refer our material master discussions. We explained with example there. Now external procurement. External procurement, it may be a stock transfer from another plant. I am producing the input for the metal from another plant. It has to come from there. That it may be stock transfer. Or I may be doing a subcontracting with some suppliers, or I will be doing outright purchase from the suppliers. So these are the different types of external procurements. These procurements, in-house production and external procurement, these things are called as procurement types in SAP. In-house production and external procurement are called as production types in SAP. And this further classification, the regular production or phantom production, these things are called as special procurement types in SAP. These things are called as special procurement types in SAP. Again, that's what now. What is the procurement type? What is the special procurement? See here, you can see various combinations of procurement options. And then we decided that okay, we buy outside or we produce inside or we produce in a regular or we do the subcontracting, whatever it is. Now we have to schedule it. How to bring it? I mean, we have to calculate the date when we have to release the order to get the material. So the scheduling will be done based on this logic like this. Here the system will consider various things. See, then the is a vertical line. No, we see the products, the bill of material. There is a finished product. To produce the finished product, I need two sub-assemblies. To produce a sub-assembly, I need component. Then to produce the component, I need raw material. So different the requirements are there. Now the finished product, when I need it, there is the start date and finish date. You can see the right top. And there is a start date and finish date based on the lead time. Now if I have to start it, I need a sub-assembly 1 and sub-assembly 2. These two should be available on the start date. Now the sub-assembly 1 is having one lead time, sub-assembly 2 is another lead time. So their start date is different. Now this the planned order for sub-assembly 2, that is where it is produced from component 3 that has available on the date. So component 3, there is a requirement, and for that raw material 2 is required, purchase requisition is there. See the link, how the bill of material is linked. These things are also giving how the planned order dates are added. This is how the scheduling will happen in the system. We will just see that how the backward scheduling for production purchase is happening. For example, there is a requirement date, right? That is what is the available date in the system for in-house production. So here we have to do the goods visit processing time. For example, when the material is produced, maybe there may be quality inspection required, or some cleaning is required, or something has to be done. So we need to have 1 or 2 days. So system will consider. So considering these days, we will arrive at what is the order finish date, when the production has to be completed. That is a GR date or order finish date. Please take note of these terminologies: GR date, requirement date, available date, because these are the terminologies you will see in SAP. This is the GR date. Now, for the GR date, there is a lead time. For example, I need 5 days lead time to produce this, or 6 days lead time to produce this. Then when you have to start, according to the start date will arrive at order, start date will be there. And then to have this production order, I have to do some administrative activities. For example, I have to check all the metals are available, all the orders are available, all my resources are available. To check these things, I need 1 day. So I need to have a opening date of this production order is on like what is 1 days or 2 days before, like this dates will be there. Now if you take it as external purchase, the same requirement available date, for external metal also you have to receive inside, you have to do quality inspection, or you have to do some repacking. That is all covered in the goods usage process. There is a lead time of the purchase person, the suppliers, and also maybe purchasing department maybe require some processing time like negotiation, those kind of things. Those things also can be considered. With these things, the release date will be defined for the purchase order. There will be opening period for this also, right? So this is the external purchase. See, these things we discuss in the metal master stage itself, so please go through that. And also in the system, you can put various parameters in metal master, you can practice them and see that. But this is how the logic will work. And then the system has worked out the requirement. The system will consider next, is there any further metal to buy or any further metal to plant? So system will explode the BOM to the next level. That is what the BOM explosion. So that it has to calculate what is the next dependent materials. So BOM explosion will happen like a system first will check what is the BOM selection, what next, that right, the production BOM it will select. And then if there is any alternate BOM, because to produce one product we may have 2-3 bill of materials. So which is the alternate we need to have, maybe based on the lot size, which is defined in the production version. So it will check what is the alternate BOM. And then it will check what is the status of the BOM, because sometimes we may make this status of the BOM as invalid, or we make that what is the explosion date of the BOM. So system will check what is the status of BOM. Now when all these things are valid, system will check what are the components that are inside this, and then system will work out what is the dependent requirement quantity and what are the dates to arrive at what is the usage quantity. This is the BOM explosion. Like this, system will go on to the next metal, then it will follow all the steps what we discussed earlier. What are the all steps? Again, no, this is how the MRP works. Like again, net requirement calculation, what is the lot size calculation, what is the procurement definition, what is the scheduling, BAM explosion, all these things will happen. This is how MRP works.
I'm going to explain the MRP concept with a practical, the demonstration with these numbers, the examples. Let me take one gearbox. So to produce one gearbox, I need one subassembly at the level 1. Also, I need another subassembly at the same level 1, right? I need two subassemblies. To produce the subassembly 1, I need component 1 and component 2. These are two components. Similarly, to produce a subassembly 2, I need component 3 and component 4. So this is the bill of material to produce a gearbox. So please take note, some point you can see. The gearbox at the higher level is level 0, the next level is level 1, the next level is level 2. Like this, there may be multiple levels. We can keep on going on it. But for the explanation purpose, I stop with the level 2. Now let us assume there is no stock for any of these materials. There is no safety stock defined. There is no purchase order, open purchase order, or production order for some simplification purpose to understand the concept. To start with, I define that date wise and equivalent to the day wise, what is the demand requirement for the gearbox. I am starting with the 16th Jan. The requirement on daily basis of the gearbox is 10, 12, 11, 10 like this. Okay, like this I put it, and it is defined until April. Okay, it is defined until April 20. Like that I defined it. So now I need to supply this gearbox to the customer from my factory on 16th January. This means I need to produce. This production should have been completed on 16th in all aspects. The lead time to produce a gearbox is 5 days, which means I should have started the production on 10th, 11th. I should have started the production on 11th. So this is the requirement date. This is the start date, which means the scheduling is happening because there is no stock. So system has arrived. What is the gross stock? The 10. Inventory is 0, opening stock 0. So net requirement also 0. So it calculates the net requirement. Now system is doing the scheduling. Scheduling means what? When I should start the production. All right. So I have to start on 10th. Now taking this 10th, and also it is in-house production. So system consider this is in-house production. It gave me the planned order for this one, right? Now after this, to produce a gearbox, what I need? I need subassembly 1 and subassembly 2, 10 numbers, right? Because the BOM assumed one number only. So to produce gearbox, I need subassembly 1, 10 numbers, subassembly 2, 10 numbers. Like this I need. And these things are recorded on 11th morning, I need it. to start the production of gearbox on 11th, right? So the subassembly 1 lead time is what? 3 days. So I have to start the production of subassembly on 8th. Similarly, subassembly 2, I have to start the production on 7th because of the lead time. Now to produce the subassembly, so what the system will do now? It will explode further BOM. So it completed the scheduling of subassembly 1 and subassembly 2. Now to produce them, it will explode further BOM because we need to have material, right? So it will go and check component 1 and component 2 for this subassembly. So I need 10 numbers on 8th to start production of this subassembly 1. So what system will do? I need to have this component 1 10 numbers on this 8th. The lead time is 6 days. So I have to place the order on 2nd to the supplier to get the metal on 8th. Similarly, component 2, the lead time is 7 days. So I have to place the order on 1st, right? So to complete the gearbox on 10th, I need to place the component 1 order on 2nd and the component 2 order on 1st. This is how system will take what is the requirement from the finished goods, exploding the BOM step by step, scheduling these activities, and finally it is proposing when we have to release the production orders, when we have to release the purchase requisition, purchase orders, right? Like this it has come. And now similar thing is happening in subassembly 2 and also the component 3, component 4 to produce the subassembly. Hope this is clear. Okay, if not, please hold on and go back to this content again. Now, I assume this gearbox and subassembly as lot for lot only because normally in any organization, finished goods and semi-finished goods, they will not be produced in big lots. They will produce exactly what is required by the customer, keep it. Only the component lots may be changing. Here, for our illustration purpose, first I keep the component as lot for lot. When I have this lot for lot, to produce the requirement of each gearbox, each subassembly, if I have to place the order for component, I have to place the order for component like this. So at the end, by end of each, now I am calculating the requirement up to 31st March. How many number of purchase requisitions I have to placed for component 1 are 90, component 2 are 91, similarly component 3 90, component 4 90. So I should have placed purchase requisition and the purchase orders of 90 numbers to get these metals there, right? This is the lot for lot concept. I hope this is clear. If not, please go through this again. Now let me go to the weekly lot size. Okay, weekly lot size. As I explained you, finished goods and semi-finished goods, they are not normally following the this kind of weekly or monthly. Normally they will follow the lot for lot. So here I keep them as lot for lot only. Only the components I take them as weekly lot size. Right? What is the meaning of this? For example, to produce the subassembly, right, that on 10th, on 8th, I need a component 1 of 10 numbers. Similarly, component 2, 10 numbers, right? I need to this. Similarly, every day I need it. But when I go for weekly lot size means what? The first day of the week, I need to have all the week's requirements on the first day. This means Monday to Sunday, in total 76, that should be available on Monday morning. Okay, the requirement is 10, 12, 11 and all daily basis to produce these sub-assemblies on daily basis. But because I'm going weekly lot size for the component, I need the 76 on Monday. If I need to have the 76 on Monday, I need to place the order for this 76 on Tuesday, right? One order. Similarly, I go for next Monday to Sunday because normally the weekdays, right? They will fix it as Monday to Sunday as well. So I'm taking Monday as the first day. Some calendar may be Sunday to Saturday, then Sunday will be the starting date. Whatever it is, the starting date of the week will be taken here as the first day. Here I'm taking Monday as the first day. So here all these days are cumulated, 78 days are taken. Similarly, every week requirement are taken, and for every week requirement, according to the lead time, every Tuesday I'm placing the order for these items, right? So similarly, I do the calculation for component 2, also subassembly 2's requirement of component 3 and component 4. Similar exercise has been done. By doing this, what's happening now? So here, when I do this, the lot size of only components have been changed. So I'm calculating up to 31st March. What are the number of purchase requisition, purchase orders? See, now it has become 13 purchase requisitions for component 1, 13 for component 2, 13 for component 3, 13 for component 4. Earlier it was 90. Remember, 90 purchase required. Now it has come down to 13. But at the same time, when I was placing the order for each lot, when I placing the order for each lot, what was there? I have to place the order only for 10, 11, 12 like this. So small pieces, it will come, I will consume. It will come, I will consume. So the space requirement is very less. But in case of weekly lot size, I will place in the order for, right now, the order 76, 76. See the 7 times I have to bring it. So which means instead of 10, 11 numbers keep it in stock, I have to keep 70 to 80 numbers in stock, which means I need that much space. But number of orders are reduced from 90 to 13. So number of orders means your activities. If you take this as a production, what will happen? Your setup time will come down. If you have to produce like this, right, your setup time will be more because small quantities you have to change. But here your setup time will be less only because you are producing more quantity. So your setup time now machine will run continuously, or your supplier will be happy because he's getting a bulk order. But you are ending up with more inventory. At the same time, if there is a change in the requirement, you cannot change this order immediately. You have to buy everything, right? If you are buying this like 10, 12, no, if you want to change orders, you can change orders also. Like this is the lot size versus the inventory issues and other flexibility issues will happen. Okay, now we saw that weekly lot size. Similarly, the component, if I follow monthly lot size, what will happen? If it is monthly lot size, I take the same thing. Gearbox is same because I don't produce for a month. Subassembly also not for a month. Only the component I am going to buy as monthly basis. Here, what will happen on monthly basis? The monthly requirement of 1 to end of the 30, end of the month. Like for example, if you take January means 1 to 31st, February means 1 to 29, March means 1 to 20, 1 to 31st. Those accumulation will be taken, and first day of the month, those materials should be available. All the requirements should be available on first day of the month. For example, component 1, these 264 numbers should be available on 1st January for January requirement. Similarly, the February requirement of 1st to 29 should be available on 1st morning, right? And the February requirement, I will place the order only on 26th January because the lead time is like that only, because I don't change the lead time here, right? Same thing. Okay. Similarly, I do the calculation for component 1, component 2, component 3, and component 4, right? When you do like this, what is happening? In this 3 months, January, February, March, for January requirement, place order in December itself. For February placement, I place order in January. For March requirement, place order in here. So number of orders are come down to 2 or maybe maximum 3 because of this December order. Let us see, if you include, it will be 3 only. See the number of orders in day to day lot size. Now, lot for lot size, it was 90. In weekly lot size, it was 13. In case of monthly lot size, it has become 2 or 3. So number of orders have come drastically less, which means you are placing the purchase order to your supplier very less frequently, a bulk quantity. Also, if it is a production, you are producing big lot size. But in the case of lot for lot, you are producing only small quantity, 10, 11, 10, 12, 10, 11 like that. You are either producing or buying, so that you are having flexibility, and also you are having less space requirement. You have a lot of, no, if there is any problem in quality and other things, you could have sorted them out immediately. But if you are having the lot size is increasing, weekly means we are producing 70 to 80, and the monthly lot size we are going up to 320 or 340, which means if there is a problem in the lot, entire lot is getting damaged, right? So this is the issue. So which we have to go? Either you have to go for a big lot size or small lot size, whether we want to have flexibility, more flexibility, less flexibility. These things have to be decided considering various other factors. Here I am just explaining the concept of the BOM. First we discuss, sorry, concept of MRP. Where did we start? We started with the what is the gross requirement and how the net requirement was calculated, because there is no opening stock, no safety stock, net requirement all the same. And then system worked out when we have to produce this material. The scheduling has happened. Once you have the scheduling, what is the next level? BOM explosion has happened. And also when the BOM explosion happening, when I have to procure it, with the example of component 1, component 2, component 3, component 4, we also discuss how the lot sizing procedure is arrived. Right? Hope this concept explanation is clear for you. This will be very helpful when you are analyzing the MRP and system. And if anyone need this Excel file, you can openly ask me through this email what is given in our video. I will share the Excel file with you so that you can use it for your study and comparison.
One important point when you are working out what is the planning quantity, scrap. How do we consider scrap? Because mainly, like many some machining industries or textile companies, scrap is bound to happen. There are many ways this scrap can be handled. One is that component scrap. If you define as component scrap, maybe it is a default which is going to be there. So when you buy the material, for example, I want to process one rod. To get one rod, 1 kg is sufficient. But when I machine it, around 0.1 kg may be coming as a scrap. So I have to buy 1.1 kg. That is what component scrap. Next is assembly scrap. If I want to produce this product, if I produce 10 numbers, maybe one number will go as a scrap. Then the assembly scrap is there. Both these things are defined in the metal master, and the component scrap can be defined bill of material also. And then we have the operation scrap net indicator. Then this is overriding what is the assembly scrap, which is defined in the bill of material, same concept. And then I want to what is the operation scrap, which means it will reduce the operation quantity in the subsequent operations. For example, I produce something now, but the next process I will get only less quantity. That is the next step. It is maintained the routing, this operation scrap. Again, all these things are the master data. Please maintain these master data, different examples, and practice them. Right? I am not showing the practice of these each examples because you need to get understanding. But how this works, I show with some example here. Right? How this works, I show some example here. What is the example? For example, there is order quantity of 1000. If I define assembly scrap as 5% and component scrap as 10%, then gross requirement will become 1155. We will add the 5% of 1000 and then it will add the 10% above this, then it is given 1155. Similarly, if I have assembly scrap 5%, but bearing no scrap means the gross will become 1050. And then I have casting, where I have the 5% as a scrap, component scrap 10% as net it is given, which means the casting requirement is coming as gross requirement of 1100, right? And then 1100 means here you put is a net means it is considering what is the order quantity, for that what is the 10% it has considered, then it is taking the requirement here. And then net identifier, similarly other calculations are done. Again all these things can be managed in the master data itself. Change these values, put these numbers, as I told, no, the quarter quantity is 100, you take a 100 or 1000 or whatever it is, put these different numbers, see the proposal how is it coming. Once you do the practice by yourself, by seeing the numbers only, you will be able to understand these things, because defining the scrap is required in various industries in different requirements, but this is very important for planning so that we get the right materials and right time, the right quantity. So there are 4 MRP views in Metal Master. These are specific to plant. MRP 1 is related to planning parameters, which the planning parameters are defined in MRP 1 view. MRP 2 view is to define the integration between procurement and manufacturing, procurement, external purchase and manufacturing with the planning. This is integration of procurement and manufacturing and planning. The details are maintained in MRP 2 view. MRP 3 view is to maintain the planning strategy, that is operating model, make to stock, make to order, assemble to order, to maintain availability check, replenishment lead time, configuration details, those kind of details. MRP 4 is used to maintain manufacturing related details like BOM explosion, discontinuation status, repetitive manufacturing, component scrap, those kind of details are maintained in MRP 4. So please remember the MRP views is in general with this logic. It will be easy for you to remember these things. And many interviews when you go and attend, whether you are a MM consultant or a MM user or MM consultant, PP user or PP consultant, this is one of the very familiar questions which have to be very clear, because this is very fundamental thing, not only for interview purpose. Even to use SAP Metal Master, this is one of the important function. In each view, there are some critical fields. Those things you should remember, and also you should know the function of each field very clearly. For example, MRP1, the planning parameters like MRP group, MRP type, reorder point, MRP controller, lot sizing procedure, MRP area details are maintained. In MRP2, the planning procurement integration parameters like procurement type, special procurement type, backflush, default store location, lead time, that is a procurement lead time, plan delivery lead time, in-house production time, GR processing time, those kind of things, and the safety stock. MRP3, we have the sales and operations related things like a planning strategy, how the plan has to consume consumption details, availability check, replenishment lead time, those things are maintained. MRP4 having the manufacturing details like how the BOM has to export, what are the production version indicator, component scrap definition, part discontinuation details, which is a replacement component, and the reparative manufacturing concepts. So we will start our discussion with the MRP type, which is a very important starting point for MRP discussions.
So in this session, we discuss the benefits of MRP, what are the different types of demand, now how MRP is working, the MRP logic. We saw the 5 key steps like net requirement calculation, lot size procedure, procurement definition, scheduling, BOM explosion, and what is the impact of scrap in the planning process, and also what are the different views in MRP and how to remember them. Those things we discussed. So now just to refresh our understanding, let us go through some quiz questions for this session. What are the 3 major benefits of MRP explained in this session? What are the outputs of MRP? What is the difference between gross requirement and net requirement? What are the 3 major lot sizing procedures? What is the difference between weekly lot size and 7-day lot size? What is the role of the opening date in scheduling? What is the role of scrap in MRP? How many MRP views are in Metal Master? What details are maintained in the MRP1 view? What details are maintained in the MRP2 view? We'll see the answers in the next session. Please take note, this is just to refresh our knowledge. Related to this, you have to form your own questions and find out more answers. For example, here I mentioned what is the difference between weekly lot size and 7-day lot size. So you have to ask yourself what is the difference between monthly lot size and 30-day lot size. Similarly, the question number 120, 121, if you see, I asked the details in MRP1, similarly MRP2 only. You have to go through what are the details in MRP3, MRP4, those things. That is how you have to expand your knowledge. So from the next session, we will start discussing various parameters in detail in each MRP view, starting with MRP1 view. Hope you completed creating purchasing views for the materials in the business case as part of our practice. And please give your feedback to improve the flow and contents of our course, and put your comments in the comment section so that I will be able to answer them then and there. And suggest your friends and colleagues to subscribe to the channel so they also get the benefit of this knowledge sharing session. Meanwhile, if you'd like to hire the dedicated server to practice along with me, contact me at the following email or WhatsApp.
Thank you. See you in the next session. Take care. Bye.